Hi there and welcome to another video from Hegarty Maths. It's Mr. Hegarty here, and in this video we're talking about what's called simple interest. Now, to start with, I want to link to something we've previously learned on Hegarty Maths, and we've actually previously done this question. So pause the video and have a go and check you can do this. Colin says a 10% increase followed by a 10% increase is the same as a 20% increase overall. Is Colin correct? Well, we talked about that previously and actually showed that Colin's not correct. And we said, imagine Colin has £100 to start with. Okay? Now, if we first show how much he's got with a 10% increase and then a 10% increase and compare it to starting with £100 and getting a 20% increase, that will show us if the two are the same. So to increase something by 10%, we multiply by the decimal multiplier 1.10, and by a further 10%, we multiply again by 1.10. If you tap that in your calculator, you will get yourself the answer, £121. If, on the other hand, we do it the way of just a 20% increase in one move, so we start off with our £100, and this time we're going to multiply by a decimal multiplier for 20% increase. So we're going to multiply by 1.20, and we get ourselves the answer, £120. So we can see that a 10% increase followed by a 10% increase is different to a straight 20% increase. 10% followed by 10% is in fact better than that. Now, what's the difference between these scenarios? Well, in this one, the reason it's not 20% is you get interest on your new amount. And what do I mean by that? Basically, you get interest on the interest that you get. Okay, so after you've increased by the 10% for, say, the first year, for example, then the 10% is on the new amount, including the interest. And there's a word for this. This is called compound interest. And interest that you see in the real world and in bank accounts, etc., is usually always compound interest, because it wouldn't be fair to not get interest on your new money at the start of the year. Now, this one down here, what's different about this one? Well, the difference here is that you just get a 10%, whatever you got in the first year, and effectively you're getting that in the second year as well. That's why it's like getting 20%. And this is what we're actually going to call simple interest, which I'll explain a bit more detail on the next slide. So, let's have a go at one in context. So, linking back to what we've previously done in Hegarty Maths, Colin has £12,000 in his bank account at the 1st of January 2015. His bank account pays. Beforehand, I have just called it interest at a rate of 10%. Now I am calling it compound interest, just so you're absolutely sure that this is the one where you get interest on top of interest. It's almost always that case, but I'm calling it its proper word now. So he gets interest at a rate of 10%. How much will Colin have after 2 years? All you have to do is 12,000 multiplied by 1.10 multiplied by 1.10, tap that in your calculator, and you've got yourself £14,520 at the end of 2 years. Now, the reason I want to point out compound interest is I'm going to do the exact same question, but in the case that it's called, the title of the video, simple interest. So the exact same scenario, but his bank account pays simple interest at a rate of 10%. This means he doesn't get interest on top of his interest, i.e., the effect of that is he gets the same amount of interest every year. It doesn't matter that his amount's increasing. So what you do in a simple case like this is you work out how much interest he should get, i.e., you work out 10% of 12,000, and then he gets that amount every single year. So the first thing you would do is you would do 10% of 12,000. 10% of anything just means dividing by 10, so that's £1,200. Okay? Now, he gets that every single year. So after 2 years, how much would he have? Well, in his bank account, he always started with £12,000, and for the first year, he gets £1,200, and in the second year, he gets another £1,200. So overall, at the end of it, he's going to have £14,400. Now, Colin should feel really hard done by there. Look, he gets less than he would have got in a normal compound interest case. And that's because he's getting the same interest every year and he's not getting interest on top of his interest. This is what this video is about, this simple interest case. You'll rarely see it in the real world, but you'll see it in exam questions and you'll see it in textbooks, so it's important we at least cover it. So, let's do some questions on simple interest. Brian has £7,000 in his bank account as the 1st of January 2015. His bank account pays him, unfairly for poor old Brian, simple interest at a rate of 5% per year. How much will Brian have after 3 years? So with this case, we're not allowed to use a calculator. The first thing we're going to work out is we're going to work out 5% of 7,000. Now, go and work out 10% of 7,000, which is dead easy. You just divide by 10, you get 700. So therefore 5% must be half of that. It must be £350. Now that wasn't the question. The question was, how much does Brian have after 3 years? After 3 years, well, he's clearly got his original amount in his bank account, 7,000, and for each of the years he gets £350. So he gets 350, add 350, add 350, or we can just write 3 lots of 350. Okay, it's £8,050. And there you go, a question answered there, all about simple interest. Let's do another one. Please pause the video and have a go at this one yourself. Okay, Sarah has 2,400 in her bank account. Her bank account, poor old Sarah, pays her simple interest as well, this time at a rate of 2.5%. How much will Sarah have after 5 years? The first thing we need to do is try and work out 2.5% of £2,400. Now the way I'd do this, I'd start off by working out 10% always of £2,400, and that's dividing by 10, that's 240. That means 5% of that, halving that, let's say, would be 120, and therefore 2.5% would be half of 5%, which would work out to be £60. So she's getting £60 every year. Let's state how much she's got at the end of 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, Sarah's got her original amount, which is £2,400, and she's got 5 lots of £60. So 5 lots of £60. 5 lots of 60 are 300. Add on her original 2,400. Sarah's going to have £2,700 at the end of 5 years. Right, let's try another one. Pause the video and have a go. This time you're allowed to use a calculator. Dan has £5,489.23p and he's getting simple interest, poor old Dan, at a rate of 2.89%. The reason you're allowed to use a calculator here, working out 2.89% of that amount is complicated. You wouldn't be expected to do that with pen and paper methods. So, the first thing we're going to do is work out 2.89% of £5,489.23, and we're going to use our decimal multipliers to do that. That, written as a decimal multiplier, is 0.0289. Okay, so we're going to do 0.0289 and we're going to multiply it by £5,489.23. So calculator up, 0.0289 multiplied by 5489.23 equals, and we get the following answer there. So write out our full answer before we decide whether to round it, because it's money. So that's 158.638747. Now because it's money, we should round it to 2dp, so we're going to round that to £158.60. That 8 makes that round up to 4.64 pence. Now that's how much interest Dan gets each year. So how much does he have after 2 years? So after 2 years, he has his original amount, which is £5,489.23, and he has 2 lots of the interest, which is £158.64. And you tap that in your calculator. So get the calculator and we'll type in exactly as we see it. We'll say 5489.23, add 2 lots of that, and we get ourselves our answer, £5,806.51. £5,806.51. And that's everything for this video on simple interest. Join us next time where we do more compound interest. Thanks for watching.